Hi there, it's James Taylor here, keynote speaker on creativity, innovation and artificial intelligence and the founder of Speakers U. Today I'm in Abu Dhabi in beautiful United Arab Emirates, and I'm at the Etihad Jumeirah Towers Hotel. Yesterday I gave the opening keynote speech at a conference there, and a question I'm often asked is what's the difference between being an opening keynote speaker and a closing keynote speaker? Really, there's slightly different roles that you have to fulfill, and I'm always happy to do either of those roles. Often I'm brought in as the opening keynote speaker, but sometimes I'll be coming in as the closing keynote speaker. But you're having to do slightly different things as a speaker depending on which one you've been brought in to do. As an opening keynote speaker, I see the role there really is to set the mood and to help kind of really set the overall theme for the event itself. Obviously, I'm coming in, I'm talking about creativity, I'm talking about change, future work, artificial intelligence, those technological disruption, and so often that will be the theme of the event anyway. And so you coming in as an opening keynote speaker, obviously you start off high energy, you want to have that, you want to be inspiring, you want everyone to be excited about what they're going to be going through, because whatever you're talking about is often the theme that's coming through multiple events throughout the course of the next few days, or even if it's just a one-day event. So the opening keynote speaker, I would say, needs to be maybe sometimes a bit more entertaining, thought-provoking, inspiring. Often you see a lot of thought leaders coming in for the opening keynote speaker. The closing keynote speaker is a slightly different role, and no less valid actually, and I think some of my favorite speakers are closing keynote speakers, because a closing keynote speaker, you have another challenge. Sometimes as a closing keynote speaker, the audience is mentally starting to think about having to leave the event. They've had a great few days. They're thinking about their flight that they have to catch, or what they need to do in the office when they get back into the office. So it's a little bit more challenging to bring people back into the room mentally sometimes as a closing keynote speaker. What I love doing as a closing keynote speaker is I love being there for the few days before my speech as a closing, because it helps me understand the audience. I go into all the other sessions. I'm listening to all the other sessions. So when I do a closing keynote, what I'm doing is I obviously come in, give my keynote itself, but I'm there to help pull all these strands together from all these other sessions and help everyone really make sense of what they've learned over the past few days, what they've experienced together. And also I would say the closing keynote speaker, the energy might sometimes have dropped because it's towards the end of the event. So part of your role is to get that energy back into the room, and you want to have people leave the event saying, wow, that was a great event. We covered all these different things and I found it really inspired, and now I want to go and start putting this stuff into work. So sometimes with a closing keynote speaker, I'll add slightly more actionables, next steps. So I'll say something like, okay, so tomorrow morning when you get back into the office, here are the 3 things that I want you to do, or here's the one thing that you want to do in order to take some of these things that you've been learning over the past few days and start implementing them in your business or in your organization. So you're a little bit more actionable. So opening keynote speaker, closing keynote speaker. If you're a great speaker, you should be doing both. I don't think there's one is better than the other. I think they're just slightly different. My name is James Taylor, and I wish you great success in your speaking. This episode of The Speaker's Life is sponsored by eSpeakers, the innovative platform that connects speakers with event organizers and associations. eSpeakers provides cutting-edge tools that will elevate your online presence, streamline your speaking business, and maximize your exposure in the speaking industry. With over 15 years in the business, 10,000 speakers in their community, and over 20,000 events managed annually, eSpeakers is the preferred choice for top speakers. You can create your own profile on eSpeakers today by going to speakersu.com/eSpeakers.